What's my name? My name is Nouf. That was my given name, and in a way now it's my chosen name. I always think a lot about it because my parents are divorced now, but apparently when my mom did not wanted me to be called Nof, she had a different name for me. It's Thekra, which Thekra translates to memory in Arabic from Arabic. But men and how they roll. My dad got to do the paperwork and he just put Nof because that's what he wanted. So it's not a common name in Yemen. I think it's more of a Khaliji or like a Gulf name or like Iraq also. Um, and my dad lived some of his life in Kuwait, and he liked the name. And in Old Arabic, it's from the same root of the word of Anf, which is a nose, but it also means it's like from height, and it's Nof, and specifically was mostly used with camel humps. So it's like the peak of the camel. So usually it means peak.
The peak.
But it's really interesting because I think language always gave my family away, especially my mom, because you can hear her like Ethiopian in her Arabic, and or her Amharic in her Arabic, or her Oromo in her Arabic, and that gave her away. Yeah, I never said I was mixed because of anti-blackness is global. This is one thing I learned through moving. So a lot of Yemenis who are mixed with African descent would like usually try to hide that. Like
So that's even the case in Yemen.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And obviously, like the darker you are, like the worse it is. And usually, like class is also like associated with like skin color. It's not as extreme, I would say, or evident or obvious in the US and other parts of the world. I don't think I ever saw myself as a black woman or an African woman. Now I'm like, wait, I am. So a lot of Yemenis in the beginning of like the 1900s to like the 1950s moved from Yemen to Ethiopia, and a big reason is because Ethiopia was flourishing, so a lot of people would seek opportunities, and the best was to go to Ethiopia. So there was a lot of people who migrated to Ethiopia, but it was mostly men, not women. So the men would leave and would like work outside and bring money back or send money back. So that's why a lot of Yemeni Ethiopians or Yemenis who are mixed with Ethiopian or Ethiopians who are mixed with Yemeni would have their fathers Yemeni and their mothers Ethiopian, and that explains. And this is something I didn't like really realize until like I did this research, because we don't talk about it. That's not something we discuss in the household. Added layer of complication is with obviously colonialism. So south of Yemen was under the Brits, but north of Yemen was in a monarchy. So what happened is when like the Arab nationalism movement started throughout the Arab region, like people needed to like find clear ways of identifying what an Arab is, right, and what an Arab looks like. So a lot of minorities within like the Arab world in general, like or the Middle East in general, have been pushed even further, but only the people who come from African descendants are considered mixed or muladin. So a lot of people try to assimilate to like Yemeni, even though there is no one way of being a Yemeni, and especially because Yemen is in like the old route, and even today it's still the route of trade, but maybe more earlier. There is like so Yemenis have been mixed with so many like people from from all over the world. So it does like there's no one way of this is what a Yemeni looks like, right? I don't know why it's so hard to say my name for others, especially in the US more than anywhere else. They have a lot of problems saying it. When I first arrived, I used to tell people like, oh, it's like enough without the E, try and like make it easy, like make it rhyme with something to get it. But now I just stopped. I'm like, it's enough. You just say it or you don't. Like, it's your problem. Enough. Yeah. It's like, but then they go like Nouf, which I feel like it also still has like, I don't know, it's like an Americanized way of saying my name. But I like, sometimes just to make it easier, I just say that. And people also remember it.
The enough part?
Enough, yeah. And then they start doing all the enough jokes. like,
Oh.
it's like Nouf said, like da da da, and it was just like very old. It's like not creative.
Like I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know actually. And the thing is, like, before, I would say maybe before a year or two, I would not care. You can call me anything as long as I know you're calling me. I was more accommodating, I would say. I don't know. I'd never felt like tempted to use an English name, if that's even a thing, or like a foreign name from like Arabic. Maybe it was when I was a lot younger. I used to go by Ova, because people used to call me Nofa, and I mean people still do call me. That's one of my nicknames. So like Ova came from that, like the Ova, and I thought I was really cool. But it was at the time where I was like looking out to, American pop culture and a lot of American music. I only listened to English music at that point, and I never left Yemen, right? So the America I had in my head is totally my own construction of, and I just wanted to remove myself from everything that was Yemeni or Arab, because in my head that was like backwards, right? And I think it took me getting out of there to realize that. So I think that's how my exchange for like my time in Maine affected that, because I realized like, well, there's a lot of things that we do and say that is very similar, but a lot of things that are just different. And I think just realizing that it can just be different. It doesn't have to be better or worse. It's just different, it's just a different way of being. But that was just the beginning, I prefer Nouf Salah to be like my name. Salah is definitely not my last name. It's my grandpa's name. It's Al-Masrafi, actually. It's like, that's where all official documents, but I never use my last name. Big part of it is because last names are like, we would carry our dad's side of the family last names. I never felt connected. I always thought I was gonna change my name, because like, who the hell calls themselves Nouf? But now I'm like, I am Nouf, and even though it's like a name that I didn't really get much choice in choosing, I feel like it in a way also like says a lot about how I came about to be, like as a person, right? Like it tells a story about my parents, it tells a story, like probably it says something about my dad. I'm always like, what if, he had a whole life, before he met my mom, and it involved someone called Nouf. Or what attracted him to this name, that he would like.
That's a hidden story.
Yeah, there's a hidden story there, and then there is like, this whole, like I was already feeling like othered with living in Yemen, so like my name added to that complexity of like not belonging, but then like leaving also, it's like, I don't know. So I think now I'm like, it's just
Proudly embracing it.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I'm not like ashamed, and I don't feel like I'm necessarily proud, but I'm also like content,
It is what it is.
But it was also really interesting to see like like names come from somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just don't know, but it stands for something.